Okay, hello and welcome everyone. Welcome to JFD Brokers Traders Tea Time with me, Darius. Well, at this session we're going to have a look at the markets, what's happening with them right now. I mean, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening, and yep. But before we do that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest and we can continue. So yep, feel free to check us out, guys, and I believe you can find a lot of useful stuff here for yourselves. So, but for now, let's have a look at the markets. Now, the first one on the chart I want to look at is the DAX. Now, the DAX is getting hit here today. This is a daily chart, and as you can see, this candle, today's candle is turning bearish now. And if we look at overall at the weekly candle, yep, it is following the footsteps of last week, and at the moment, yep, you can see that it's turning, well, it has already turned red, or in this case black, but we could, like I said, we could see this one sliding even lower. Of course, keep a close eye on these two lines. As you can see, the index is still stuck here between the downwards moving resistance line here, taken from this around the 23rd of January, and of course this upside support line that taken from the 26th of March. Now we're stuck here at the moment. It seems that it's on the path towards the potential test of this upside support line. If this support line holds, we might get a rejection here, and we could eventually maybe move low, move higher again, back up here towards these levels, which recently acted as good levels of support, but now they're going to act as nice areas of resistance. So, but that's only in the case if we're going to see a rejection of this upside support line. To be honest, this is something more for next week rather than this week, because we're closer to the end already, and but just as a possible scenario, keep an eye on that one. Like I said, this line could prove to be a strong one, and we could see maybe a rejection from it where the index could reverse and move higher again. Certainly until this line is kind of broken, we're still gonna stick to the upside here in the short term, or at least until the possible touch of this downside resistance line. If we suddenly get a break below this upside support line, now this is where it could become interesting for the bears, as we could see maybe this index traveling even lower here. Now certainly the first potential area of support could be around here, around the 12,100 level, and if that doesn't hold, well, guess what, I mean, it could open the path towards this low right here, approximately around the 11,000. Just bear with me, guys. Let me just adjust this level. There we go. So approximately around 11,725 mark. So something like this, guys, to keep an eye on. This level here acted as the lowest point here in March that we had. So certainly something to keep an eye on. But then again, I will repeat myself, only if we get a nice break and a close here below this upside support line, and then of course a break below this this support level here at around 12,100, and this is something for maybe longer term, but nevertheless this is a scenario that we should also keep in mind. But at the moment, the main one is our first scenario is the possible rejection here of this upside support line. Let's look into one commodity, and more specific, precious metal, and to be even more specific, gold. So we're stuck here in this little range here between the 1205 and the 1215, still stuck here. You can see that today we managed to kind of get close to that 1205 level. We were just shy of a few points touching that level, and we're seeing now the bulls kicking in and trying to drive it back up here. Certainly the risk-off sentiment is starting to show up here, and as you can see, gold is kind of reacting to that, and as a safe haven, and yep, we're seeing some buyers coming in. Certainly for us to take to consider any of the further either a further move higher here or a drop here lower, we would need to see a nice either break here above this 12.15, a break and a close, especially because as you can see we had our breaks but it never closed above the 12.15. We need to see a nice good strong close before we could act here and we could start examining higher levels. On the downside for us, again, a similar story as with the upside, but just the opposite. We would need to see a nice good break and a close here below the 12.05. Let's jump into a few pairs now quickly, and the first one I want to touch on is the Aussie dollar. So the excuse me, the Aussie dollar is finally breaking its range that it was sitting in for quite a while here, as you can see from around the 20th of June, and as you can see it continued kind of ranging here, but now we're breaking this lower side of the range at around 73.15. This is the one to keep an eye on for today as well, because if we continue moving lower, or let's say even if we're going to just break below, we're going to close below this level, now this could be quite a bearish sign here for the pair, and we could see further declines later on next week. So for now, be very careful, keep a close eye on this 0.7315. At the moment, like I said, all eyes are on today's close. Let's jump into the euro dollar, and this one is getting hit as well. As you can see, we've managed to break this this level here, the 115-100. Now I was talking about this level in my previous videos. I was talking specifically about this range, this big range here that we had between the 115-100 and the 118-400. As you can see that we've managed to break this level here, the 115-100, strongly with a strong daily candle. Also, we managed to break another important area of support here at the 114.80. This 114.80 acted as a very nice area of support here around the 20th of July last year. So this one has also broken to the downside, and now we're just continuing to fall here, and certainly our next potential target is the this 113.70 mark, approximately there, around there, and that has been where it's going to close today. But for now, like I said, this is looking more bearish than bullish. So something like this, guys. So just keep a close eye on it. Jumping into GBPUSD, you probably are aware this is a similar story here. The pound is selling off, and of course the big question here is where is going to be that floor for this pair, especially for today. At the moment, we're keeping a close eye on this level right here at around 127.75 area. Now this 127.75 has been the low that we saw here around August time last year. It's going to close below it or not. If it does close below it, I mean, going into next week, we could see some further declines, maybe going lower. Certainly, at some point, we should have like a bit of a retracement here to the upside, back up to the upside. But of course, at the moment, it doesn't seem to be wanting to retrace. So for now, just keep on monitoring this one, guys, and let's see where it's gonna find its floor. And last pair that I really wanted, the US dollar is getting a nice boost here against the Canadian dollar, but to be honest, we recently had the data coming out from Canada and it wasn't that disappointing. But as you can see, the market participants here are heavily buying into the US dollar, and yep, this is what we can see here happening in the USD-CAD pair. We managed to reach this level here at around 131.25 mark. Now this continues to act as a very good area of resistance for us to kind of start considering higher levels. Well, we would also actually we would need to see a nice good break above this level, but as you can see that we do have a short-term downside resistance line running here since around the 27th of June, and of course, this creates a bit of this makes us worry a little bit, because as you probably can understand, it could get held here. The pair could get held, but if this support line, if this resistance line, sorry, breaks, then it's opening the path towards higher levels. So for now, guys, keep a close eye on it. Let's see what it wants to do with these levels. Let's jump into one other pair quickly, and probably which is getting affected the most today, and that's USD Turkish lira. Now look at this chart, guys. I mean, this is just spectacular, and we are reaching now the 6.52 level. It's I don't know where it's going to stop here, but to be honest, this is extraordinary, and this is quite a move here higher. So for now, if you're trying to short this pair, then be very careful. I mean, like I said, this is very difficult to know where this is going to stop, because like I said, judging from this, for now the sky is the limit for this pair. So like I said, for now, keep on monitoring this one, guys. I mean, I understand it looks nice. It potentially could be a nice shorting opportunity here, but to be honest, you should be very careful with this pair. Another one that I really wanted to touch on quickly, show you one of the emerging markets as well, is Mexican peso. So yep, one of their emerging market currencies. And as you can see now, I was talking about this, and actually we threw out an idea here on TradingView about this Mexican peso actually before it made a jump here, and so managed to get it right. And yep, as you can see, this is continuing to push higher. We're breaking some key areas of resistance, this one being the first one, the 18.762, and now we're going to be aiming for this potential area of resistance at around 19.169. so something like this, guys. Keep a close eye on it. Let's see what it wants to do with that level. Okay, guys, right, I'll have to wrap it up here. Thank you very much for watching and listening. So for those who are still trading, I hope you have a nice remaining day, and for those who are finished for today, well, have a nice weekend. And if you want to join me on Monday at my Traders Espresso, and that's 6 o'clock GMT time, 7 o'clock British Summer Time. But for now, thank you very much, and bye-bye.